And also, if you're ghost hunting, it's kind of a good idea to know what you're looking for. People make lots of wild ideas about what they've seen or what period it's from. For example, I'm often told that people here are seen in, oh, you've seen a monk in a cloak. Right? How do you know it's a monk? Because he had a hood up. Yeah, did we have umbrellas? When did you think we got umbrellas? So everybody's cloak had a hood on. So the automatic, because we like to think of ghosts as being monks hanging about, don't we, amongst other things. So the castle at this time of year is pretty busy. People don't expect that it's... Sometimes when I talk and you get like an answer or something, you do think whether they're taking the mic on. But what I do want to say is there is nobody in the... I mean, my husband's here, who's an academic. He wouldn't dream of going ghost hunting, he wouldn't dream of faking anything either, but everybody else you can see. It's quite common that when I'm talking about certain things, the castle responds. What's particularly interesting is how often there's light pulses. You may see that happening. And the reason that's interesting is because we don't have, they're all in the same circuit. So if that goes, that should go, they should all do it. And usually we just get the one, you see. So that's quite interesting as well. Right, we're going to have a walk around. You'll see there's what I call murder tape outside. I've been told it's incident tape, it's not murder tape. I'm obviously watching too many TV things. The red and white stripe. We discovered yesterday that the front porch is collapsing, which is nice. And in fact, we've got some engineers. It looked like there was a crack, and there was. So we've taken that off quickly, but that will get done this week. But that won't interfere with what you need to be doing here, which is not only having a great time, but trying to find something, you know. Have any of you had direct experience with spirits? Any of you actually seen anything here? You've seen things, but not necessarily something in a sheet. Yeah. No, but you know what I'm saying, what we think of is. But the castle talks to us in very many ways. This room can be quite interesting, can't it? But the King's bedroom over there is the one where we get the most activity. When you get in, the first thing you'll say is, where's the bed? Because there's no bed in it. It was actually Charles I. There he is above the door, that's Charles. One kid said to me, is that the Three Musketeers? It is, they look alike. It's the one bloke painted in 3 different directions. He used that as a withdrawing room. There was immense tension when he was here. Civil War hadn't yet broken out, but it was building. And it's nerve-wracking, and very often these places, the rooms where kings will be, when there's trouble, or people like Winston Churchill, underneath the ground in the war cabinet rooms underground, absolutely tiny quite often. You've got a massive castle and you've got a civil war in your hands. The people on the other side, you know, don't have green hair. They look like you look. They speak like you look. Civil war. So people are nervous about what's standing in the corner and who's listening and this kind of thing. So quite often we'll retreat to small rooms. When I first came into the castle in 1999, and all sorts of things started to happen when we opened in the year 2000. And mostly because of these stairs. Let me show you these. I wouldn't mind a look at these stairs. Come with me and have a look at these stairs. We only found these in January 2000. The stairs that you came up over there, the original stairs to the room, these were behind an airing cupboard, like Narnia. The front door was locked off with concrete. Who on earth was allowed to do that in a scheduled monument? This is not grade 1, it's above grade 1, it's so important as a site. I had the front door opened up and I said, well, there's an airing cupboard there, it's an apartment here. Get that out and I shall put a display case in. You know that we can change and vary for people coming in on a wet day? And the back wall caved in, there were the stairs. They're only about 1750, they're not very old. Americans pass out when I say that's not very old. They go, it's pretty old for us actually. So it's an extraordinary story. And one woman said to me, why were they filled in? So I said, well, if I'd known that, I'd know they were there. I mean, I can see why she asked me, but you can see why that's a problem. Over here, just floorboards. We walk straight across into the King's bedroom. It's completely flat. Obviously, we put this in. We had to put stairs in the bottom 5 stairs and put the carpet on everything. And then on the other side, just a wall. So you couldn't tell they were here. Isn't that odd? And then about 4 years ago, in the accounts department and some of the other offices, that far corner of that room over there, I was standing talking in the doorway, and then I looked, what the hell is that? Behind a ledge, there were 2 spiral stairs. So there was a spiral staircase in the corner of the room. It's like stairs are us, isn't it? What the hell's going on here? Why? Because it was such an important room. And a bit of you will say, well, it's not very big for a great hall, is it? That's because it's the real thing. It's not a Victorian rebuild. Some American Gothic money coming over here, which was very commonly done. When do you think Warwick was built almost in triangle between 1800 and 1831? The original, destroyed. Part of the wall and that hump that you see that we've got here, the motte, that's all the real thing. So, you know, these places are full of stories. They keep kind of, every now and again you get a bit of a shock, you think you know it, and then it gives you a bit of a shock. And there's some strange things about the castle as well. If you look at that picture above the door, it looks like it's tilted, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, it's not.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's because it doesn't walk.
Look at the door.
Yeah.
So I'm getting so fed up with it, I'm going to poke it with a broom. And so it really is tilted, and then it looks straight. Isn't that strange? You see the way the door goes?
Yeah.
So it throws you completely. Furniture in the room is spectacular. I'm walking around the furniture, and I'll tell you why. I do think some things hold things, you know. If you showed your great-grandma DVD, that silver disc with a bit of rainbow on, hey, great-grandma, it's about 1880, put it in a television set, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to go nuts, I mean literally nuts, probably. Can't be able to believe her eyes. What witchcraft is this? When it comes down to it, it's a silver disc that retains information, doesn't it? So some materials retain information. One argument is it's called the stone wall theory, or the stone tape theory, is that this place made because the wall behind you is 1361. Although this front piece in red brick, you arrive and you think, well, that's not so old. Well, that's the old, definitely old. This wasn't rebuilt after the Civil War. Charles I had it put in red brick, because out there was a complete town. That was a town. Do you know 1,000 people lived here in 1361? It was solid buildings, cobbled streets and courtyards, dogs barking, people leading horses around. You could smell bread baking in the air, armourers, knights in shining armour, kings and queens are plenty, all here. But I do believe that ghosts are not just queens, we're equal in the sight of God. Why should it be a clean woman from Derby? She's got something to say. And I'll talk to you a bit more about the ghost in time. Do touch this when you move home, and you won't get shouted at. You can see there's no red robes here. I'm sure you'll respect it. This piece of furniture is about 1490. You wouldn't get anywhere near it normally, would you? So why do you think I allow you to? Because I know you respect it, and I know by you touching it, you can be inspired, you know. There's a kind of thing that will thrill. Think how old the tree was that was cut down to make fancies. Hello, just arrived. Hello, very nice to see you. Sorry we're late. Don't worry about it. I'm Lesley Smith. How do you do? So I'll just give you a talk in the room. You'll catch your breath. More than I'm doing. Just I'm bloody I'm going to drink of water. After those stairs were opened is when the real ghost just started to kick in. This is when things started to be seen on a very regular basis. They kept seeing a black figure moving across the room to there and dropping like a stone. Just moving across, into the middle as if in mid-air, and dropping. The reason I'm interested is some people in this room may remember the death of Saddam Hussein. You're right, or used a pen like this, and did the pen was the handle drop. Now, although those stairs are only 1750, there may be earlier stairs, and after the Civil War this castle was royalist castle, obviously, by its very nature, you know. It wasn't unknown for people to be executed indoors to stop the big uprisings in the area when local heroes were killed, you know. It does make me wonder if there was executions in here. When you go onto the Welsh Marches, places like Mold, this beautiful castle there that's a keep, and it looks like the White Tower of the Tower of London. There was an execution room there. And so that's a thought, isn't it? Maybe this is stimulating. And why at this time of year, and in August, do we get so much ghostly activity here? Because I think most people think ghosts only come when it's wet, cold and windy, and it's like spooky. We get them in the day. We do get extraordinary things at this time of year. I can only think it must be secular, on a cycle. Maybe responding to particular dates of uprisings, you know, or things going on here. And is that what presses that into the wall? But we also have some characters here that are definitely independent of repeat. That is, they're not just a burp that keeps doing the same thing. And we have one man in particular who's we've had some activity with only a month ago. That was really quite something. Some of you may have seen the footage of that, but we'll talk about that in a minute, because I don't want to give you too much information. Because if I do, you'll think, well, Lesley told me that, so I think I must, you know, I mean, I can't win, can I? You know, make mentioned it or whatever. If any of you are doubters, by the way, or cynical, you're extremely welcome. We need that thought process. And the reason for this is this: we can't all be following the same pattern of thought, can we? You know, it's important to think things through a bit. And if you are cynical about it, that's fine. What it really means is you're going to have a nice night out in the 11th century royal castle at a time of night when you could be stuck watching Doc Martin again. There are other things to do in life, aren't there, than the box. Exploring places like this, you know, exciting. Okay, this piece of interest from the 1580s, so when Shakespeare was alive, it was in use. They're the arms of the Duke of Lancaster. You know the Duke of Cornwallis, don't you? Prince Charles? Who's the Duke of Lancaster? Who owns the castle? The Queen. She's not a duchess, she's a duke. It's an androgynous title. So she owns the castle, and indeed, other than the 11-year gap during the Civil War, it's been owned by the monarch for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And it was given as a wedding present to Margaret of Anjou, Queen of England. In 1461, she spent a lot of money here. It's exciting, isn't it, to think it's been here. Henry VIII's been here. Richard III's been here. We found that out last year. So, you know, it's not a big filing cabinet that says everything that's happened to Tutbury Castle was in here. You know, we've had the war, you know, and bombing and fires and documents get split up. So we haven't got all the answers all the time, but a lot of them. This armour is real. It's one of the only things I'll ask you not to touch, please, because I quite like the idea of you touching this and getting a bit of contact, you know. Think about the maids who leant against these bits of furniture and laughed at what they laughed about, but the same thing we laughed about. We'd use beeswax melted down to give it this marvellous shine, which we still use. The reason why I don't really want you touching the armour is not because I don't want you to draw close to things. On the facts, I do. But you know, if you pick up the bowl of a soup spoon, you get a white mark, don't you? Or you put your hand on a mirror because you've got a bit of oil here. Well, this is real, you know. It's been fiddled about with. But the helmet's in particularly good state. Some of these hooks are quite clearly much more modern. But I'll take this off now. But I've got the jumper on, it's a bit chilly tonight. See, that comes right out. That's so you can walk with and get on a horse. Not necessarily in that order. But you can't do all three things. It quite clearly has not belonged to a real man. It's just a fake, you know. The gold braid's been stolen off this. That cloth's much earlier than that cloth. So it's been fiddled about with a bit. And it's at the absolute end of Elizabeth's reign and into James I's reign, when James I was here as well. Mary Queen of Scots knew this really well. She was definitely in. Right, is anybody tapping, please?
Yeah.
I
heard that 3 taps.
Well, do you know, I tell you, I wouldn't mind if it was, but we heard it, and sometimes it can be explained by other things. Okay, we'll go over here. Come on with me over here, then I'll talk to you. So, what are you looking for tonight? Well, the castle was known as the Lock of the North. If you didn't get through us, Mary. Well, I said Mary, nothing came to it. Mary. The castle has had tens of thousands of people here. Some have been tortured. We had Alice Goodrich the witch here, we had her own witch here, who was brought here as well. We've had some extraordinary things, but definitely people have died in this room. Some people get a sense of choking blood here, it's quite common. Not common, but a manifestation that people will describe. You can smell snow sometimes. You can smell snow. Did you know that? Don't think you can. But actually, when you open the back door, you can kind of smell snow, can't you? And if I said to you, you know what earth tastes like, you go, yeah, that's because you ate it when you were little, and these memories kind of lock in. So we do get that. We get a horrible, sickly sweet smell as well, which of course can be the dead. The strongest, nearest smell of the dead is lilac. That's why some people think it's bad luck to have it in the house. And apple blossom, you get this sickly sweet smell as well. But I'm not saying it is the dead, I'm just saying that smell is one of the things that's talked about. Beneath here is in little pockets from places that Mary went to in Scotland and in France. You alright, Mike?
Yeah.
And so, you know when you have an embassy, did you know it's a British embassy? Did you know there's a sack of British soil underneath? Because technically, you knew that. Technically, it is that country. And so this has got little pockets of soil from France and Scotland underneath. There's much to be found here and many questions to be asked. We've had paranormal activity here since all the time I've been here, and it did particularly start with the stairs. First occasion, I was in the room here and I was alone, and it was the 27th of January in the year 2000. And I was over here and I had a very long coat on, and I was completely alone. I was doing crazy hours. I was doing an 80-hour week to try to get this place ready for opening. And something, I was here, and my coat came right out and on me. So I thought, oh, how odd. I've caught a thread on a nail, because that's the first thing you reach for, obviously. I've caught a thread on something and it had pulled my coat out. So I went over there and it did it again. But I don't think it came out a bit. I mean, it came out a lot. So I thought, right, we must be off. So I got my handbag and I'm down those stairs like a dog leaving the vets. But actually, all the time I was saying to myself, don't let them see you're frightened. It's a phenomenon of women particularly know about this. Don't walk like a victim, don't look fragile. So I'm going down the stairs and I've got pins and needles in my face. You know, like someone cuts you up on the M1, you get that raw feeling. I got to the door and I've locked myself in. And my handbag, well, you need search parties to go through my handbag. So I'm trying to find the key, and I was very shaken because I could hear the stairs going. And I got out and I locked the door and I got in the car and I drove away. I thought, don't be a fool, you're just tired. You get very tired. If you have flu and the bed moves, if you have that, it's lovely, the quilt moves. Or tramadol, that makes people stare at you. Try that, you've got people watching you around the so you have to be quite careful about things. And that was the sensation. I thought that's what it is, but it certainly wasn't.
You wouldn't have it well here, would you? Keep hammering it. So in fact, the proper street level was 4 foot down. And we saw it with Grant. We got the British Museum in, did a big dig, did a big investigation, took absolute years. But down there, there's a lot of gravel put on there by kids from the drive. So I'm going to be going down with the potholing team. But that reminds us of the where the water table is, which is over there, the River Dove. So when there is water on, the water table is 145 feet deep. This is, I mean, if you put your torches in, it's just remarkably low. There have been fewer people at the bottom of this well than have been on the moon. But I'll be going down later in the year. It's quite something, isn't it? Actually, Mike, what I might do is get you later to get a bit of paper, tie it, or light it and drop it down, and then it disappears into ash so it doesn't damage the bottom. It's quite fun to watch.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll do that a bit later. We'll do that. Right, come on, we'll go over to the main bit. So, the building you're here is the building you've just left. Red brick club put on by Charles I. If anybody's doing an investigation later with equipment, I would like an answer to this. I sometimes park my car up that little slope there, and then I'll reverse out, and I'm coming out on my own at night, and the bleepers start going off around the car. You know, like you're near something, or something's near you, and it's not this tree. I know what that is. And you will get, I do get the beepers going off around as if there's something circling the car, which makes me drive very quickly. So, and then over here. very nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. Did you hit that wall? Now, can you see the shape of that fireplace? Yeah. That's the king's bedroom, you see. That's where the real size of the fireplace was, behind that wall. But it goes off into a big... it's very deep, you see. That's why I was saying it's very deep. And that's where you've got your backs against that wall there. And you can see there would be apartments going right through to here, can't you? Can you see? So that would have jutted out in stone, and that's the postern gate. We know Charles I came through that gate. And here we've got the Great Ruin, if you'd like to have a look here. And when we had scaffolding in, I went up there, and they didn't really want me to, but I did. And when we got to the top floor, was I just hearing things then? When we got to the top floor, I discovered with measurements that it was the same size as the Great Hall. So in other words, not they're not huge necessarily, these but this was gifted. The whole castle was given to Margaret of Anjou as a wedding present, and she moved at one point the whole Parliament, everything, the whole court came up here. So the castle's terribly important. It's on the right-hand side where we're digging the floor up, and if you shine a torch in, you'll see we can see different layers. We'll have a look if you like. There was a cloaked figure thing here, small dark cloaked figure. As part of the dig, we found Mesolithic flints, which told us men had been here 8,000 BC. The Romans were definitely here. We can't prove the Saxons, but we think it's likely. And the Vikings raided the next ledge. So, here we are. You see that great arch in the head of you? Yes. And then above there, you can see where the joists went in, and a fantastic fireplace on the left covered with signs of the zodiac. Now, I'm perfectly happy for you to go down, but the floor, when you later on investigate it, look, can you see we found one step already? Can you see the step at the bottom we found already? We're nearly there. But I can tell you, I had these designed, these stairs, I designed them so they didn't actually touch the bit. We're not allowed to put, nails in walls and things like that. Just be extremely careful. It's very uneven down there, but the stairs would be lethal if you didn't have these on the top. And you're very welcome to go in there. When we had, believe it or not, we had Hasselhoff here one night. Got a phone call to say he wanted to come for dinner, and I said, yeah, get off the phone, I'm busy. But it really wasn't. He came with Scott Mills, and they did a programme here called Living with the Hoff. And a cloak figure moved straight through quite a large group of feet. It just looks a bit creepy the way it's hanging. So this north tower gives you an indication of how massive the castle was, because that was apartments. As I told you, some was greater than others. So when we come here, we go, oh, what a great view, but it wasn't for them, not unless you were actually in front of the Mary's apothecary was here. The gardens have gone in for that reason. And the torture chamber you'll be taking round later tonight. There's not actually one here because the assizes were here. It was Elizabeth I who stopped torture. It had been used on some members of her own family, of course, not least of all George Boleyn, Lord Rochford, Anne Boleyn's brother, who'd been tortured most terribly and accused of incest with Anne Boleyn in the King's Great Matter. So she stopped it and said it could only be used by order of the Privy Council or the King or Queen themselves, which of course is what happened to Guy Fawkes. That's actually what happened. So you will be coming in there, the torture chamber, and we do think it's quite possible it is actually that. But you've got to go in there and get a sensation of how very different it feels. Not just because it's a ruin, it doesn't feel like any other building we have here. The ship seems a bit weird. I mean, we're about as far from the sea as you could get, but we were very proud of our great sailors, people like Drake and Raleigh, and we would grow herbs, some of them bought from far shores, including tobacco, and boast about the fact that we were smart enough to do these things. We had a massive lilac hedge here, which we pulled out because it had gone woody, and we've got fresh lilac, I don't mean lilac, lavender. And then when the lavender comes out and it's mauve, that ship, golden ship, bobs on a beautiful lavender sea. Looks really pretty. And there's jasmine below, so it cascades on white foam. It's really pretty. A lot of people get married here, and the ghosts don't put them off, which is a bit surprising.
People get married here.
Then you watch the Canterville
And divorced.
Ghosts on television. Don't you remember that? Children's series about that. No wonder I'm really leave it to go. Can you see that stone in the middle there? Yeah. When that was first found on the dig, sorry, I'm yakking, someone's still coming. When this came up, people called me and said, Les, we think we found a tomb. So they fetched me and of course remember people were smaller and it's children and all that, you see. That's all the stone. Can you see it to there? So we carried on digging like mad, and I actually stood on a cobbled courtyard next to it, and I was up to here, this stone was. That shows how deep it was. See the line? And it wasn't a tomb unless it was a very thin person. It was on a plinth, and I think it may have been another altar, because we know there were 2 chapels here. There was a grand one, that one on 2 floors, and this might have been the other one, as well as the priory at the foot of the stairs. But servants might want to break their fast very early in the morning to go about their duties, their breakfast, breaking the fast. So this could be what it is, but it's a stone-dressed plinth. Very interesting. I need to be very careful about stripping around it, but we will be doing that. So it is fascinating, isn't it, what you can find here? It's fascinating watching curators plunge into the underground as well.